typical New York locations. Like we're not getting a travel guide of New York in this film. It's sort of places you don't see as often, I think, in films that are set in New York. Is that fair to say?
I think yes and no. I mean, I think one of the, I think Hell's Kitchen is a pretty famous area of New York, and that's where Clyde and Lizzie lived, you know, and so all that stuff, you know, us walking in this, all that stuff is that area, and the scene on the pond, that's Central Park. That's one of the famous places in Central Park.
Yes, it is.
And so that's why I say yes and no. And then, but then you're right in that I purposely, you know, we did a lot of searching for areas of New York that are areas that are known by the people who live there. You know, and places that I had in my mind, in the back of my mind, as we kept searching. You know, and like, you know, the opening scene where that is, you know, that's basically a water taxi takeoff spot, you know, that I thought, wow, what a great location, because it's quiet and it's out in the middle of nowhere, but there's the skyline of Manhattan right behind it, you know. So.
When you were adapting it, and I assume as a play this was just a four-person play on the stage, but you had to, how much input did you have in sort of fleshing out the other characters in the film with the screenwriter?
It's fun. A lot of this characters, like, you know, Clyde goes into great detail about the cannoli in the play and in the movie, but even more in the play. And so that character was alive. When you saw the play, it was like you saw him. The cannoli was a very real thing, you know, and to the point where when the cannoli was said in the play, you could feel the energy come from the audience. And that's said for Dr. Bob too. I mean, Bob Gardini is really one of my favorite writers, because you don't get what he's doing to you until it starts to happen, you know. And I think this story is like that. I think that what it's doing to you is much more than just two people falling in love and a relationship breaking apart. It's bigger than that. There's something else at stake, you know. And so in the play, when these characters were brought up in great detail, they became alive, you know, Dr. Bob. To the point where when we were first making the film, I thought, you know, I'd always talk about Dr. Bob and all these people as kind of like the parents in the Peanuts cartoon. That you'd have these four characters and everyone else is like, wah, 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 you know. And there was a very split second where I thought, I wonder if I could do that. You know what I mean? Like, where you actually wouldn't see Dr. Bob, you just kind of see his torso and just go, wah, 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 you know. But it did inform me a lot in how those characters are shot and dealt with. You know, I don't bring them into the lives of these four people. They stay as mysteries on purpose, you know, because the story has a lot to do with what these four people are projecting onto the other people and what they're projecting back at themselves, and which is causing a lot of harm, and that they need to start like looking at what's actually the truth, and that's very difficult. And so those characters, you know, and in the play that was not, you know, what happened, as you know, they were talking about.
It was funny to see Tom McCarthy in that